I grew up thinking of life in this manner, that it's about writing my story and getting all the chapters right. And by the way, we come at it honestly, for truly, it's really hard to be born and grow up in a swimming pool and not get wet. We have a tendency to take on this view of life, that life is about my story. Now, as Christians, we don't want to be that vain. So what we tend to do is we enlist Jesus as a willing participant in being the one that helps me write my story. In that scenario, Jesus becomes the little statue in my pocket that I pull out and rub in prayer when my story isn't going as it should. And so I need him to fix what's going on in this chapter so that everything will be okay in my story. After all, Jesus loves me and wants me to be happy. And I tell you, when I take that mentality and superimpose giving on it, the only reason I'm giving is so that God will make my story better. And if my story isn't going the way I want it to, then I am perfectly justified before God to stay away from this whole giving thing. But if he has blessed me in my story, really my tithe and my giving is really a thank you to him for blessing my story. Y'all, that ain't God's economy. And underneath all of that is a capitalistic mindset that says, I give so that I can receive. And if I'm not receiving, then I should not give. Now, here's my question for you. What if God were the author of the story instead of you? What if it was God's story for you? You see, if God is the author, instead of viewing things through the lens of time, in other words, if I live my life here, then I die and I start, and this is the way we tend to look at it as Christians. You know, I've got my story, and then whenever I die, it starts a whole new eternal story with God. And so we tend to separate the stories.